Welcome to the Versa Business Tips Podcast. I'm your host, founder, and CEO of Versa Business Systems, Shaheen Mazloom. We are here with a marketing expert today, Jennifer Sutton of Bright Marketing. How are you doing today, Jennifer?
I'm doing great, Shaheen. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for hopping on. So I love talking about marketing. It's also one of the most frustrating parts of my business, and I'm sure other people feel the same way. But tell us a little bit about yourself and what you guys do.
Yeah. So a little bit about myself. I'm a 4-time mom and a 3-time founder. I have a couple other businesses besides the marketing agency, but I've spent 30 years on marketing. I grew up in the media space. So I was one of the first digital media buyers back in like 98, 99 when it was all coming out. But yeah, I've been doing it for a really long time, kind of coming in from the data side. And, you know, as we've seen the trends, I started my company in 2013 after the 2008 recession, kind of as we kind of came out of that. And a lot of pressure was put on full service agencies and looking at really like the big brands could afford the really good agencies to kind of get them out of the turmoil.
Right.
But I saw such a great opportunity for those, you know, those scale ups, those mid-sized companies that really wanted to hit and scale big, but couldn't afford a big Madison Avenue, you know, big city agency. And so we kind of, you know, started the company going, we know how to dot connect and integrate and take all of those great lessons and the great, you know, disciplined thinking processes and planning, but bringing it down to companies that may not be able to afford it. So that's kind of how we design. We've grown ever since. We've been in business since 2013. And now we're starting to see, you know, after post-COVID, just, you know, the marketing industry is again another, I would call a little bit of a crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's constantly changing, right? So like, you know, I mean, I started Versa Business Systems. Actually, today will be 7 years since our first client.
Wow.
And, you know, in the beginning,
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so in the beginning, we were mostly doing direct mail. So we focused strategically on business funding. So we were reaching out to small, medium-sized businesses. And so direct mail was great. For the first 3 years, we had a great mail piece. We had the right data, and we're getting like a 4 to 5% call-in ratio. And it was really good.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, it just started really going down, and it got below 1%. And I'm like, we got to do something different. So then we started using AI and automation, you know, getting the right data and text messaging and emailing and conversational AI to generate leads and appointments for my sales reps. That went really well. And then all of a sudden, Twilio got sued for some scam. And the regulations came down. So now you got to have under a certain opt-out rate.
Right.
And so then we got into Google ads and Facebook ads. And that's where we get all the scammers and the fake bank accounts and the, you know, the overseas companies trying to get a credit card processing account. And, you know, it's frustrating. And I know a lot of businesses are feeling the same thing, you know, constantly having to change things that once worked really well.
Right.
And then eventually stop working. So like, is there a trick to not constantly having to change your marketing, or is it just the way it goes for everybody?
I think, you know, over the last decade we've seen, I mean, when I grew up in kind of the media, you could create a $20 million media plan or even a $100,000 media plan and do it for the year and kind of set it and forget it. That has not been the case for close to, you know, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
And because consumers, we consume differently, the landscape changes, the algorithms of the platforms change, but also just the regulations, the competitive, you know, forces that come in, the clutter.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to, you know, look at your data, and the fact that you are looking at your data is is fantastic because we work with a lot of companies who either don't know how to look at like what data they should look at and they look at junk, or when they've kind of set the plan, they've done it based off whoever they've hired. And
Right.
if someone comes in and is like, oh, well, I'm an SEO specialist, all of a sudden
Right.
all their time and resources go into SEO, and it's like, that is not where your problem is.
Right.
You shouldn't be spending, like, yes, if it was a perfect world and you could spend money on across all tactics, right?
Right.
That might work, but you can't put all your eggs in that one basket.
Yeah.
And so we just see, a lot of people just don't know the framework on how to plan, how
Right.
to determine where do they want to put those time, money, and resources. And then, and what you're seeing in terms of like in your industry, those credit card scams and all that stuff of like those, we're seeing the same thing in the marketing industry. There's
Right.
a flood of bad actors
Oh yeah.
in our industry of digital marketers that present themselves as good,
Yeah.
good business practices, and they're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And so we're fighting that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. The sad thing is with businesses, business owners know what they know, right? So the guy that has a successful mechanic shop, he knows how to fix cars, he knows how to hire mechanics, he knows how to do oil changes, whatever, but he doesn't know about funding and marketing and
Right.
payroll and taxes and all that stuff.
Right.
So there's all these people out there trying to take advantage. And it makes it even harder for the companies like yours and mine that are actually trying to help these businesses. It just makes our job that much harder in terms of being able to, help them because there's just so much, there's so much scam and just dirty business,
Right. Right.
out there, and it's tough.
Or not just like the other dirty bit, but also when do you and how do you hire the right people?
Yeah.
What aspects? I mean, you and I are both founders. We run our own business, so we put that business hat on too. We've all been through that. Do I bring that person in as a full time, or do I outsource so I get the best experience? And I think a lot, especially small businesses. I mean, I hear that all the time. I'm like, ooh, when I get to like 20 people or 25 people, I'm going to hire my own, marketing director or chief marketing
Right.
officer. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Like, you are not big enough to do that because all of that salary is going to take up what you could be hiring more of a marketing team in a box.
Yeah.
Where you can get 15 people touching your business
Exactly.
in an agency umbrella, that your money is going to go so much further.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you still have to fund the media spend, or you still have to fund the tools and to do the emails, to do the text, and use those tools and technology. Will find a team or a partner that you can outsource to.
Yeah.
And they've got to be legitimate. And a lot of it is if you just ask really smart questions to determine if that's are they experienced, or are they going to walk with you?
Right.
When I talk to CEOs and CFOs, even at scale up companies, that's what we try to tell them. Like, look, we're not just an expert in SEO. We're an expert in uncovering, do you have a branding problem? Do you have a marketing problem? Or do you have an advertising problem?
Right.
And when they look at me and go, I didn't even know there was a difference between those three terms. And I said, yeah. So if you interview other agencies and they also don't know that there's a difference between those three terms, they're not the right partner for
100%.
you.
Yep.
Because there are different planning frameworks, there's different processes of thinking to make sure that where's the rub in your business?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the friction happening? Is it happening on the marketing side? As in, do you have an internal like culture problem of a sales engagement?
Right. Is it a sales problem? Right. It could be the personnel. Right.
It could be the personnel. It could be your scripts.
No.
It could be, it's not just, we see that all the time. Like clients come in and go, I think I have an advertising problem. And we kind of look under the hood and go, well, you're spending the right level, you're targeting the right audience, but you told me your close rate's 80%. We're looking at it going, your close rate's less than 10%. Mm-hmm. And in your category, you should be at least 40% close rate or 50% close rate. If you're less than 10%, that's a marketing operations problem. Right. So if you don't have the right personnel or you've got a process that's broken, so that's a marketing, that's friction in your business. Mm-hmm. Or we look at it, is it a physical presence problem? We work with a lot of manufacturers that have retailers, distributors, and we're going, okay, you're selling in, but you're not helping that retailer sell out.
Right.
And we're looking at those retailers and it's like, there's no point of sale. There's the counter people don't know how to talk about your product or service to sell through. So again, that's not an advertising problem. Right. That's a marketing that's a people and a process and a physical presence problem.
Yeah. Yep.
So
how do you figure out? So you can go under the hood and you can look at all the different analytics. So for you being a marketing company, how often are you seeing that it's not a marketing problem and it's all the other? Is it more often that it's all the other things than the marketing?
Yeah, it is. We find it's either. I get companies, I probably have 10 to 15 conversations with CEOs, chief marketing officers of, larger businesses who will say, hey, can you look, I'm not sure our advertising is as effective as it should be. And when we kind of go through our discovery, look under the hood, look at the data, we find that it's either a branding problem, like their message isn't clear enough. Yeah. It's not clear enough, or they really haven't uncovered who their audience is. They've taken a guess at it. Right. And they really haven't uncovered what their pain points or what dreams do they create, from what their delivery is. So they really haven't uncovered we call it what is. Mm-hmm. They haven't really defined or articulated their why. What is their impact they want to have in the community of the market or the world that they are trying to create, the problem they're trying to solve. And they haven't defined that what yet, not with clarity or not with enough differentiation that's relevant or meaningful to the people that they're trying to do business with. Right. And so we find that needs to be kind of honed. Right. And then it's like, once we get that going and then we start turning on the advertising, man, that you talk about scalability, we can kind of go, okay, now it's working. People are responding to your ads. People are responding to your emails. People are responding when you go to a trade show way more effectively because we're above industry benchmarks on all of those, the click-throughs, the conversions, so we know it's working. And then we monitor all the way through to go, again, making sure that the processes, the marketing operations of the people, the physical presence, all of that is happening in a well-oiled machine. But yeah, a lot, like I said, we look at advertising, we kind of start, working it. And then, it's kind of crazy. Who would want to spend $10,000, $15,000 a month in an ad program getting 5 or 8% close rate? It's exactly. Like, let's turn that off and let's take that money and let's redirect it for our team to come in and fix that problem. Right. Let's get it done over the next 30 to 60 days. Let's attack that. And now let's go put that money back where it needs to. But you need an agency, you need a partner that has that nimbleness, that agility to be able to work with you and your business, so that you're scaling at a rate that you want. It's like we get companies that come in and go, I need 25 leads, appointments a week. And it's like, well, how many are you getting today? And they're like 5 or 7. And but you look at their spend, like you're spending 20 grand a month and you're only seeing 5 to 7, like something's not working. So and it's like you as a CEO or a VP of whatever position you hold, it's like there's a problem, like
100%,
but you can't figure out where it is. And so those are the conversations I literally have on a daily basis with people. It's like I offer like a 1-hour strategic free session with people, and they kind of unload, and I'm like, well, the fact is your gut is right. Like a lot of times we hear that, like your instinct as a business owner or business leader is dead on. Let's try to uncover what that is and how can we help you? But not all agencies are alike.
No, that's for sure.
And we know that there's a lot of my agency types out there, but I think we're getting lost in this clutter of bad actors, or sometimes it's these business owners, they're going, oh well, it's digital, so I've been told I need to go work for go find a digital agency, and it's like you hired somebody that just specializes in SEO. That's all you're going to get from them.
See, the thing is with marketing, like one thing that I've learned is you've got to be omnipresent. And as much as everybody says they are, I mean, even we are not omnipresent when it comes to marketing, right? Like we're omnipresent when it comes to like posting. Like we post on every single platform there is, but we're not running ads on TV, on radio, on billboards, we're not doing it all. And we should be, because when one thing stops working, then you're scrambling to figure out, well, where are you going to go next? And if you have all these things working at the same time, your billboards are going to help your digital ads, your TV ads are going to help your radio ads are going to help your digital ads. It all works together.
And not every tactic achieves the same thing. I mean, you look at like in media planning, when we look to go, there are thousands of tactics, right? Our choices are pretty much unlimited of where do we need to spend our money and our energy to convey that to deliver that message, right? And it's like I hear, well, we've got to be on TikTok. And I'm going, you are B2B and you're trying to reach, this very, very specialized audience. You might want to get
TikTok
a channel for your brand, but do you need to really be spending time, money, and energy right now when you said that you need to hit this business goal and you need to get this many leads, or you need to close this many accounts before the end of the year? Let's be very intentional of where we need to spend those resources.
Right.
Even when we talk about social media and using the platforms organically, just to kind of break down, I think, to break some of these myths of, well, if I hire a person right out of school, they'll just post 3 times a day and, do all that. And it's like, there's other ways you can use social media. If you don't have, if you're trying to grow and you barely have a following, it's like, what are those tactics? Choose the ones that are going to bring you the most return.
Right.
Do contests, or maybe you need to spend your time and energy following and engaging on your audience's platform. You're still using social media, but you're actually using it socially.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
You engage with others. You're going into the DMs. You're going into, using inboxes in a different way. So instead of posting 3 times a week, It might be you're going in every day and you're commenting on your 50 favorite customers or your 50, prospects that you're trying to win over. So it's like, let's be intentional about where we're conveying that message and how do we need to get to the goals that we need to get. And I don't think people go through that planning process in a strategic way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true, and I think part of it is the rat race, right? Like you're in such a hurry to to get leads in. You're like, well, I know if I just throw some money up at Facebook ads, I'm going to get some leads in, and you can get some stuff in for sure. But is it the best use? Most likely not, unless you have, like you said, like a marketing agency like yourself that has people that are experts in all different types of marketing. To really uncover where your money is being spent and what it's bringing back and what's working, what's not working, what other areas of the business need to be fixed for the marketing to be effective and things of that nature. So yeah, I definitely get that.
Yeah, it's and I get if you're a business owner or business leader, it's frustrating because it is sometimes it's more complicated than it should be, or you've been burned by other agencies that haven't paid off. So there's a lot of skepticism, I think, within our industry. But like I said, I think it's asking those questions. It's finding those right partners, finding that the right expertise, and literally agencies should be having these kind of conversations or using the words and the language that I'm using. And if they're not, it's usually a telltale sign. They're trying to sell you a product of theirs and not really trying to walk with you in your business.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I see it all the time where, we've met with tons of marketing companies over the years, and some have worked out, some haven't. But it always makes me laugh when it's the companies that want this huge monthly fee and they're not willing to, like you said, walk with you. Like, well, if you guys can get me these results, well, why don't we just give you 20% of the revenue? You'll make 4 times as much money. Oh no, we don't want to do that. And it's like, okay, well, can you even really give those results? And 99% of the times they can't, and that's why they don't want to do any kind of rev share or split of monthly fee plus rev share. And I think that's a big thing. And I know there's marketing agencies out there that are big enough to where they just don't do rev share. But there's also marketing companies that they'd prefer to do rev share because they're really good at what they do. And they know if they're gonna do a good job and they're gonna make you money, they want to be able to take part in that success as well.
Yeah. We've got a couple of those agreements with some of our clients, definitely, because it's like, hey, we've got to lower our agency fees, right? But let's make it a partnership of there's some things that are just we've got to cover our costs. But let's help drive the business and let's win together.
Yep, exactly.
Because there's a lot of junk. Like you can get not everybody has the same definition of what a lead is. We're very clear of how we define a lead. We're very clear on what we define as a conversion. I mean, we've kind of stepped into and had to clean up. Looking at other contracts and stuff, and it's like, whoa, people are calling a click.
Right.
No. That is like, or it's really easy for junk. Like you can turn on, I'll call
bots.
that are bots and black hat tactics, which are not good. And so asking about black hat versus white hat, that's another little signal. And really understanding kind of what you're getting. And if the agency is able to be agile with you, like our agreements are kind of set up of, hey, look, we're kind of a marketing team in a box. So 1 month we're doing this or next, but then we're going to shift and we're going to jump on another project and then shift again because your business is shifting because we're attacking problems. We're attacking that friction. And a lot of, if you're just a media buying agency, you're not able to do that. Or if you're just a PR firm, you're not able to do that. Yeah. So even just kind of working, knowing kind of what you need, especially if you're trying to aggressively scale up, you need to have somebody that is, again, that's walking with you. But making sure that people ask, well, what does a lead mean? When you say conversion.
What is the definition of each of these things? Yeah.
And when we say, hey, when we ask the question of I want to know, what is your close rate? What's your slippage? Because there's always slippage of, I'm going to send you a lead. You've got a or I can get a calendar appointment, but did they make it? I need to know, did it get closed? Did you send a proposal? What's the percentage of, I sent through, you had 50 appointments this week. Well, how many proposals did you write? And then, there's slippage there. And then how many did you close on that? And then what's your sales cycle? Is it 30 days or is it 2 years? Because every business is different. And when we work, we come with clients and they're like, I don't know. I'm guessing. Or this is what I've been told by my sales team. And I'm going to go, well, I'm going to give you some lessons of, I guarantee your sales team hasn't input everything in the system.
Right.
Because they're only putting in stuff that makes them look good.
Yeah.
So they're telling you 80% close rate. I'm telling you based on data, it's 15% or whatever it is. So it's also knowing you've got to be ready to go, what's your source of truth? And you should have one source of truth, one source of a data point. Is that your Google Analytics, your GA4 that we're all kind of working off of? Or is it your CRM that we've tied in your what are we looking at? But we need to all be working off the same source of truth.
Right.
And having that dialogue as a team, as a partnership to go, well, we can't be blind with that data. Yeah. If there's something happen, that means there's either friction or there's not friction. And we are, are we overspending or are we underspending? Because it's hey, if we're seeing a 20x return or a 200x return, well, let's invest. Let's put that money and grow the business where it needs to go.
100%.
We can't do that blind.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think everybody's got to be on the same page, and you got to have the right information, right? Those KPIs and making sure they're accurate. I think is the biggest things, there's companies out there that we've met with and they're like, yeah, we're profitable. And then when you look into it, you guys haven't made money in years. I don't even know why you're still operating this business, right? You're literally just hemorrhaging money. You're losing money constantly. It's I don't even know how you're surviving. So yeah, I think it's, part of it is coming to terms and being honest with yourself, but really making sure that people are tracking those KPIs are probably the most important. We track everything. I don't look at them as much as I probably should. But I do when I know something's just not quite right. And when do I know things aren't quite right? It depends on where that bank account is, right?
Something is not working. Let me go dig a little deeper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now if people want to reach out to you and have you take a look at you said something about a free 1 hour consultation. So how does that work?
So you can go on LinkedIn it's Jennifer J. Sutton. My maiden name is Johns. But I have all the links in there for my calendar there. So it's a free 1 hour complimentary strategy session. Click on that and find a time that works for you, or you can go to our website, which is gobright, BRIGHT now.com. and fill out a contact form. And, if you want, and I can send you the calendar link that way. But
Awesome. 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 It has been great talking to you, Jennifer. I appreciate you diving into marketing a little bit further for us.
it's
I know
fun.
I'm going to take advantage of that 1 hour
Please do.
because I don't care how good a company is doing. You can always use somebody's expertise outside looking in at any point. And whether we do business together or not, it's I
Right.
think that's a huge value point
Absolutely.
regardless. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you, Shahina. It was fun. It was great conversation. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer.